Well, tell me a little about your courtship.
Well, let's get into private matter. Well, John Brown said he'd watched me grow up and that he thought I was a pretty little girl. Pretty after I grew up. And he'd always thought he wanted to marry that girl. And he did.
Well, now, he had talked to you once when you lived in Parsons. You told me that you and who were sitting on the steps?
Al and I were walking down the street on a Sunday afternoon, going to her house. There was this Baptist church there with a lot of steps where the young people met. The girls went there to sit, and then the boys came. So when Al and I got to the church building that day, there was this car out there with a couple of boys in it, John Brown and Reddy Reeves. And those girls were trying to find out who they were. They were just joking with them. They wouldn't tell them who they were. And I said, well, I know one of them. He lives up Chesterfield. His name is John Brown Davis. He said, now, how do you know me? You don't know who I am. I said, that's what your name is. And we went on down the street. And of course, he knew me. He was just joking with me.
Well, how did you know who he was?
Well, I just seen him up there when I'd be visiting Aunt Ever folks around the little store.
So after you all moved back to Chesterfield from Union City, why Daddy started visiting you?
Mm-hmm. Then we were married and lived over at his old home place until we married in 36 and we moved over there with Mother and Daddy in 42, because Daddy reached a place where he couldn't do much farming. And John Brown's brother had been doing public work with Farmers Home Administration, and they cut back their force, so he'd come home. And we were living on his part of the farm. John Brown's part didn't have a good house. We were going to have to build a house, so Mother and Daddy persuaded him to come over there. And I guess it was a good thing we did. It was a good road over there. Close neighbors. So we lived in that house until 71, when you and Jane were not coming back, we found out. So we moved into your little house, added some on to it. Made it comfortable. We couldn't really make the house comfortable.
Well, let's go back to Parsons when you were a little girl down there. Tell me about some of your friends there.
They were rather diversified. I had 5 or 6 friends. They all liked me, but they didn't care anything about each other. So I divided my time among them. Danny Houston, Pauline Ivy, Dorothy Bateman. Jenny Sue Wheat. That's all I think of right now. Yeah, till you were out. Yeah, I was one of the main ones.
You told me about you all holding was it a big meeting out behind the school?
Mm-hmm. We were really going pretty good over there. We thought the teachers wouldn't know anything about it. We had some blocks over there and got us some boards and made the seats. I had a pulpit up there, had a place for the mourners. One of the girls did the preaching. One of the bigger girls had a good voice, and she did preach. I don't know what she said. We made a song later. A lot of shouting going on. That just lasted a couple of days. The teacher had us quit that.